Lily Bennett worked double shifts at the Starlight Diner on the edge of New Sacramento Colony. Her fingers, rough from years of serving plates and wiping tables, moved quickly as she handled the busy dinner rush. The special boots they made all servers wear hurt her feet, but she needed every dollar she could earn to pay for her mother's medical treatments back on Earth. 10 years ago, Lily had been on track to become one of the best pianists at the New England Conservatory. Then the big economic crash of 2187 happened. Her family lost everything. Her expensive music education became something they could no longer afford. They sold her beloved piano, and she packed away her dreams like old toys not needed anymore. Now, she served fake coffee to tired miners and business people at the edge of human space. The Starlight Diner wasn't fancy, but it was clean and had the best view of the stars through its big windows. Most customers were regulars who came for the cheap food and the friendly chat. Lily knew most of them by name and could guess their orders before they spoke. "Order up, Lily," called Frank the cook. His voice brought her back to the present. She grabbed the plates of steaming food and delivered them to a table of miners just off their shift. "Thanks, Lily. You're a lifesaver," said one of the miners. An older man named Pete with lines around his eyes from years working in the dust of Mars. "Just doing my job," she said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She checked her watch. 4 more hours until the end of her shift. The door to the diner slid open with a soft hiss. Lily turned to greet the new customers and froze. Everyone in the colony knew Richard Donovan by sight. His face was on ads all over the station, and his company logo decorated half the ships that docked at the spaceport. Richard Donovan owned Donovan Aerospace, the company that had changed space travel forever with their new engines. Those engines made him one of the richest men in the solar system. He was known for his big parties on his personal space yacht, the Golden Horizon, where rich and powerful people gathered to show off their wealth. But what was he doing here, in a simple diner at the edge of the colony? Donovan wasn't alone. 5 men and women in expensive clothes followed him in, looking around the diner with slight frowns on their faces, as if they had never been in such a plain place before. "Table for 6, please," Donovan said to Alan, the diner manager. His voice was smooth and practiced, the voice of a man used to giving orders and having them obeyed without question. Alan almost tripped over himself showing them to the best table, the one by the big window with the view of the stars and the curve of Mars below. Lily watched as the group sat down, their fine clothes looking out of place against the worn seats of the booth. "Lily, you take this table," Alan whispered to her as he passed. "Don't mess this up. If Donovan likes our place, it could mean big business." Lily nodded and grabbed 6 menus from behind the counter. She put on her best smile and walked over to the table. "Welcome to the Starlight Diner," she said. "Can I start you with some drinks?" The group ordered a mix of coffee, tea, and water. No one looked at her as they ordered, their eyes on their devices or the view outside. No one except Donovan, who studied her with sharp eyes that seemed to look right through her. "Haven't I seen you somewhere before?" he asked as she turned to get their drinks. Lily shook her head. "I don't think so, sir. I've been working here for about 3 years now." He said, clearly not believing her. "Well, never mind, we'll have those drinks now." As Lily walked away, she could feel his eyes on her back. A shiver ran down her spine. There was no way he could know her from before. Before the crash, before she had to leave music school. She had been nobody then, just a promising student, among many. And she was nobody now, just a waitress in a diner at the edge of human space. She brought the drinks back quickly, setting each one down carefully. The group was talking about business, about a deal they had just closed that would make them all even richer. Lily tried not to listen as she took their food orders. Their problems and successes were so far from her own life that they might as well have been from another planet. As the evening went on, Donovan's group got louder. They ordered expensive bottles of wine that the diner rarely sold, and their laughter filled the mostly empty space. Other customers began to leave early, uncomfortable with the noise or perhaps just aware that they didn't belong in the same room as people like Donovan and his friends. Lily kept serving them with a smile that grew more forced as the night went on. Her feet hurt worse than usual, and she had a headache starting behind her eyes. She thought of her tiny room waiting for her, and the video call she wanted to make to her mother before it got too late. The diner had almost emptied out when Donovan noticed the old piano in the corner. It had been there since before Lily started working at the Starlight, an earth antique that the original owner had brought with him as a reminder of home. It was old and out of tune, occasionally played by drunk customers who knew a few notes. Mostly it sat gathering dust in the corner, forgotten like many things from Earth. "Is that an actual piano?" Donovan asked, his words slightly slurred from the wine. "A real one, with real strings and hammers?" "Yes, sir," Lily answered as she cleared some empty plates from their table. "It's very old, from Earth." "Does it work?" one of the women in his group asked. She had long red hair and wore more jewelry than Lily had ever owned in her life. "It's a bit out of tune, but yes, it works," Lily said. Donovan's eyes lit up with an idea, and Lily felt another shiver of worry. He looked at her with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Hey boys, watch this," he said, his voice carrying across the nearly empty diner. "Girl, I hear this place has an antique piano in the corner. Why don't you play something for us?" Lily froze, her order pad held tight in her hand. The old piano had been sitting unused in the corner for years. A few drunk customers sometimes played a few notes on it, but mostly it just gathered dust. "I don't play, sir," she lied. The words felt bitter in her mouth. "Nonsense," Donovan said with a wave of his hand. "Everyone from Earth has had basic music education. I'll give you 1,000 credits if you can play anything we recognize." The diner fell silent. 1,000 credits would cover her mother's treatment for a month. Her manager, Alan, nodded at her from behind the counter, his eyes wide with hope. 10,000 if you truly impress me, Donovan added with a smirk. He clearly did not expect anything good. Lily placed her order pad on the table and walked slowly to the piano. Her heart beat fast. It had been 10 years since she last touched a keyboard. And this was a sad excuse for an instrument, but 10,000 credits. She sat on the bench and touched the yellowed keys. They felt both strange and familiar under her fingers. She played a few notes and winced at the out-of-tune sound. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and began to play. Her fingers stumbled at first, trying to remember a skill she had not used for so long. Then, like a ship breaking through thick clouds, her muscle memory cleared the fog. She began playing a gentle, flowing piece of music, her body swaying slightly with the melody. The diner customers turned one by one as the beautiful music filled the space. Even with the piano's problems, Lily's talent was clear. She moved from one piece to another without stopping, each one more complex than the last. Richard Donovan's smug smile faded. His face showed real surprise. He had expected her to fumble through a simple tune, not play like a master musician. When Lily finally stopped playing, the diner burst into applause. She opened her eyes, suddenly aware of what she had done and what she had shown. "Where did you learn to play like that?" Donovan asked, walking to the piano. "The conservatory," Lily answered quietly. "Before the crash. You're Lily Bennett," he said suddenly, his eyes wide with recognition. "I knew I had seen you somewhere. You were that child prodigy, the girl who played at President Chen's inauguration." Lily nodded, surprised he remembered. That had been 10 years ago when she was just 16. "You disappeared after the crash." "Everyone thought you had given up music," Donovan said. "I did," Lily replied, looking down at her hands. "My family lost everything. We sold the piano. I had to drop out of school and get a job." Donovan looked at her for a long moment. The rest of the diner was quiet, watching them. "That's a waste of talent," he said finally. "A criminal waste." Lily stood up from the piano bench. "I need to get back to work." "No, wait," Donovan said, holding up his hand. "I'm having a party on my ship tomorrow night. Important people will be there, including some visitors from the Altarian Collective." Lily had heard about the Altarians. They were the first alien species humans had made contact with. They looked somewhat like humans, but had 4 eyes and skin that changed color with their mood. They were said to be very advanced, but had so far shown little interest in human culture. "I want you to play at my party," Donovan continued. "I'll pay you 50,000 credits." Lily gasped. 50,000 credits was more money than she made in a year at the diner. "I don't have anything to wear to a fancy party," she said, her mind racing. "I'll take care of that," Donovan said with a wave of his hand. "Just say yes." Lily thought of her mother's medical bills, of the tiny room she rented, of the dreams she had given up on long ago. "Yes," she said, "I'll play at your party." The next day passed in a blur. Donovan sent someone to pick Lily up from her small apartment. They took her to a shop that sold clothes nicer than anything she had worn in years. She chose a simple blue dress that reminded her of the night sky seen from Earth. A car came for her in the evening. It was sleek and expensive, with seats that adjusted to her body. The driver took her to the spaceport where Donovan's personal ship, the Golden Horizon, was docked. It was enormous, more like a floating mansion than a spaceship. A man in a uniform met her at the entrance. "Ms. Bennett, welcome aboard the Golden Horizon. Mr. Donovan is expecting you." He led her through the ship. Lily had never seen such luxury. The floors were covered in soft carpets. The walls displayed changing scenes of Earth and other planets. The air smelled fresh like a spring day back home. They entered a large room filled with people in fancy clothes. Some were human, but others were clearly Altarians. They were taller than humans, with 4 eyes set in a diamond pattern on their faces. Their skin shifted between shades of blue and green as they moved around the room. Richard Donovan spotted Lily and came over to greet her. Ms. Bennett, welcome." He was dressed in a dark suit that probably cost more than Lily earned. "In 5 years, I hope you're ready to play. Our guests are eager to hear Earth music." He led her to a grand piano that sat on a raised platform at one end of the room. It was not like the old, out-of-tune piano in the diner. This was a masterpiece made from some dark wood that seemed to glow from within. "This is a Steinway brought from Earth," Donovan explained. "It's over 300 years old." Lily sat at the bench and touched the keys lightly. They responded perfectly to her touch. "What should I play?" she asked, suddenly nervous. It had been so long since she had performed for an audience like this. "Whatever you want," Donovan said. "Just make it good." He turned and addressed the room. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored visitors from the Altarian Collective, I have a special treat for you tonight. May I present Ms. Lily Bennett, one of Earth's finest pianists." The room fell silent as all eyes turned to Lily. She took a deep breath and began to play. Lily closed her eyes and let her fingers rest on the keys of the beautiful piano. The room was silent, waiting. She had not performed for people like this in 10 years. For a moment, doubt filled her mind. Then she remembered why she was here, for her mother, for the money that could help her. She took a deep breath and began to play. She started with a simple piece, one that flowed like water over rocks. Her fingers remembered the way, moving across the keys as if she had never stopped playing. The piano responded to her touch with a sound so pure it made her heart ache. As she played, Lily opened her eyes and looked at the crowd. The humans were watching with interest, some nodding along with the music. But it was the Altarians that caught her attention. They stood very still, all 4 of their eyes fixed on her. Their skin, which had been shifting between blue and green, now pulsed with a deep purple color. Lily finished the first piece and moved smoothly into another, this one more complex. She had composed it herself years ago at the conservatory. It had mathematical patterns woven into the melody, the kind of patterns she had always found beautiful. As she played, she noticed something strange. The Altarians were moving closer to the piano. Their skin was now a bright, glowing purple, a color she had not seen before. They seemed almost mesmerized by the music. She finished the second piece and the room burst into applause. The humans clapped politely, but the Altarians made a strange humming sound that filled the air. One of the Altarians stepped forward. It was taller than the others, its skin now a mix of purple and gold. Your name is Lily Bennett? It asked in perfect English. Its voice had an odd echo to it, as if more than one person was speaking. Yes, Lily said, surprised. I am Zelthor, ambassador of the Altarian Collective, the alien said. Your music, it speaks to us in a way we did not expect from humans. Lily wasn't sure what to say to that. Thank you, she replied simply. The patterns in your music, they follow the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, Zelthor continued. These are universal mathematical principles that our own music also uses. Lily nodded. She had always seen music and math as connected, though she had never studied math formally. Would you play more? Zelthor asked. Something of your own. Creation, perhaps? Lily looked at Donovan, who was watching with keen interest. He nodded encouragingly. I have a piece I've been working on in my head, Lily said. I haven't actually played it before, but I can try. For years, even without a piano, Lily had composed music in her mind. During long shifts at the diner, while riding the transport, to work in the quiet moments before sleep, she had created complex pieces of music. One piece in particular had been growing in her mind for years, a melody that spoke of loss and hope and the vastness of space. She began to play this piece now. Her fingers moved across the keys, bringing to life the music that had existed only in her imagination. It was a strange piece with unexpected shifts and turns, but it had a beauty to it that even she had not fully realized until now. As she played, she was aware of the Altarians moving even closer. Their skin now pulsed with light, colors flowing across them like the aurora borealis on Earth. They swayed slightly with the music, their 4 eyes half closed. When she finished, there was a moment of complete silence. Then Zelthor spoke. Never, in our studies of your species, did we imagine such transcendence, the alien said. This mathematics expressed through sound, it speaks directly to the quantum nature of consciousness. The other Altarians made the humming sound again, which Lily now understood was their form of applause. Donovan stepped forward, his face showing surprise and shrewd calculation. Ambassador Zelthor, I'm pleased you enjoyed Ms. Bennett's performance. Enjoyed is an inadequate word, Zelthor replied. We have found little of interest in human culture until now. Your art seemed simple, your music chaotic. But this, the alien gestured toward Lily, this speaks a language we understand. Lily felt overwhelmed. She had come here expecting to earn money to help her mother. She had not expected to become an impromptu ambassador for humanity. Zelthor turned back to her. Will you teach our musicians? We would like to learn this way of creating sound patterns. Before Lily could answer, Donovan smoothly cut in. I'm sure we can arrange something. Ms. Bennett is under contract with my company for cultural exchanges. This was news to Lily, but she kept her face calm. She would deal with Donovan later. I would be happy to share what I know, she said directly, to Zelthor. Music is meant to be shared. The alien's skin flashed gold. Good. This will be the first true exchange between our people. Over the next few hours, Lily played more music. She played classical pieces from Earth's history, modern compositions, and more of her own work. The Altarians remained close to the piano, sometimes reaching out to feel the vibrations of the strings with long, sensitive fingers. Human guests came and went, but Donovan stayed nearby, watching with growing excitement. Lily could almost see the business plans forming in his mind. As the night went on, Lily began to feel tired. It had been years since she had played for so long. Her fingers were sore, her back ached from sitting at the piano, but she also felt alive in a way she had not felt since before the crash forced her to leave music behind. Finally, as the party began to wind down, Donovan approached her. 50,000 credits as promised, he said, tapping on his device to transfer the money. And I'd like to offer you a job. A job? Lily asked, stretching her tired fingers. Cultural ambassador to the Altarians, Donovan said, his eyes gleaming with opportunity. It seems you have a talent for more than just music, Ms. Bennett. You've done in one night what our diplomats haven't managed in 2 years. Found common ground with the Altarians, Lily looked over at the aliens who were speaking among themselves, their skin flashing with colors she was beginning to recognize as emotions. What would this job involve? She asked carefully. Playing music, teaching, learning their music in return, Donovan said, all while being the face of Donovan Aerospace's new cultural exchange program. The salary would be substantial. Lily thought of her tiny apartment, of her years serving food to strangers, of her mother's illness. She thought of the piano in the corner of the diner and how it had led her here. I'll consider it, she said, but first I need to call my mother. 2 weeks had passed since the night on Donovan's ship. Lily sat in a large, bright room aboard the Golden Horizon, with windows that looked out at the stars. The ship was now in orbit around Mars, where the first official cultural exchange between humans and Altarians was taking place. Lily had called her mother that night after the party. When she told her about the job offer, her mother had cried with joy. The next day, Lily had gone back to the Starlight Diner one last time, not to serve food, but to say goodbye. Alan, her manager, had been sad to see her go, but happy for her. New chance. Always knew you were meant for bigger things than serving coffee, he had said as he hugged her. Now Lily was dressed in a simple but elegant outfit that Donovan's people had picked out for her. Her hair was styled neatly and she wore light makeup. She looked like someone important, someone with a purpose. It still felt strange to her. Across from her sat Zelthor and 3 other Altarians. They were studying the piano that had been brought into the room, their skin shifting between shades of blue and green with flashes of curious yellow. The piano works by striking strings with small hammers, Lily explained, opening the top of the grand piano to show them the inside. When I press a key, it causes the hammer to hit the string, which then vibrates to create sound. The Altarians leaned forward, their 4 eyes blinking in different patterns. One of them, named Zelvex, reached out a long finger to touch one of the strings. May I? Zelvex asked. Lily nodded. Go ahead. Zelvex plucked the string, making a single clear note ring out. The Altarian skin rippled with pleasure, flashing gold for a moment. Fascinating, Zelvex said. Our music is created by directly manipulating sound waves with our technology. This physical method is primitive, yet the results are complex. Lily might have been offended once by the word primitive, but she had learned that Altarians simply spoke directly. They did not try to be polite the way humans did. Sometimes limitations lead to creativity, she said. Human music developed within the limits of physical instruments. Zelthor's skin turned a thoughtful purple. Yes, we have observed this pattern in other aspects of human development. Your species turns obstacles into opportunities. Lily smiled. That's a nice way to put it. She sat at the piano and began to play a simple melody, one that children on Earth learned as beginners. The Altarians watched her fingers move across the keys with intense focus. Now you try, she said to Zelvex, who seemed the most interested. The Altarian sat beside her on the bench. Lily showed where to place fingers on the keys. Altarians had 6 fingers on each hand, longer and more flexible than human fingers. Press. Here, then here, Lily guided. Zelvex pressed the keys, making 2 clear notes sound. The Altarian skin flashed with bright gold and green. I created sound, Zelvex said, showing more emotion than Lily had seen from any Altarian before. Over. The next hour, Lily taught the basics of piano playing to the Altarians. They learned quickly, their extra fingers and natural mathematical thinking helping them grasp the patterns of music easily. As they practiced, Richard Donovan entered the room with several other humans. Some wore business suits, others the uniforms of Earth government officials. They stood quietly at the back of the room watching the lesson. Zelthor, try this pattern, Lily said, showing a simple chord progression. It's the basis for many human songs. The Altarian ambassador copied her movement perfectly, then added a variation that Lily hadn't shown. The result was beautiful, a blend of human music tradition and alien innovation. That's wonderful, Lily exclaimed. You've created something new. Zelthor's skin glowed with purple and gold. It is a joining of our ways of thinking. Donovan stepped forward then. smiling his business smile. Ambassador Zelthor, I see you're enjoying our cultural exchange program. The Altarian turned all four eyes to Donovan. We are. Lily Bennett has shown us that humans understand the mathematical harmony of the universe in ways we had not recognized. Excellent, Donovan said. The Earth government representatives are ready for our meeting. Whenever you are, Lily knew about this meeting. It was to discuss trade agreements between humans and Altarians, agreements that had been stalled for months because the aliens saw little of value in what humans could offer. Now, with this new cultural connection, things were moving forward again. We will join you shortly, Zelthor said. First, Lily Bennett has promised to teach us one more human music concept. Donovan nodded, though Lily could see he was impatient. Of course. We'll wait in the conference room. After Donovan and the officials left, Lily showed the Altarians how to create minor chords which humans often associated with sadness or tension. Our data suggested that human music expresses emotions, Zelvex said, playing a minor chord. This sound creates a feeling of discomfort, longing. We call it melancholy, Lily explained, a gentle sadness. You find value in expressing negative emotions through art, Zelthor observed. This is different from our approach. We seek mathematical perfection and harmony. Human art often finds beauty in imperfection, Lily said, in the expression of all emotions, not just pleasant ones. The Altarians were quiet for a moment, their skin shifting through thoughtful shades of blue and purple. Perhaps there is wisdom in this approach, Zelthor finally said. We have much to learn from each other. The ambassador stood up from the piano. We must attend the trade meeting now, but I would like to continue these lessons. Of course, Lily said. That's why I'm here. After the Altarians left, Lily stayed at the piano, playing softly to herself. She felt a strange mix of emotions, pride in her role as a bridge between species, gratitude for the second chance at a music career, but also caution about Donovan and his plans. She knew he saw the cultural exchange as just a way to make money. He wanted to sell Earth goods to the Altarians and gain access to their advanced technology. Lily didn't mind that part. Trade between worlds made sense. But she hoped the connection she was building through music would be about more than just business. As she played, she looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, where her mother was now receiving the best medical treatment money could buy thanks to Lily's new salary. Somewhere out there were other alien civilizations that humans hadn't met yet. Perhaps music would help bridge those gaps too when the time came. Lily smiled to herself. From Waitress to Interstellar, cultural ambassador in just 2 weeks. Life was full of strange turns, like an unexpected chord change in a familiar song. 1 year had passed since Lily Bennett first played for the Altarians. She stood at the window of her new apartment on Mars, looking out at the dome that covered New Sacramento Colony. The view was much better than from her old tiny room. Now, she could see the whole colony, with its tall buildings and busy streets, and beyond that, the red landscape of Mars. So much had changed in a year. The cultural exchange program had grown far beyond what even Richard Donovan had imagined. What started as piano lessons had expanded into a full program of music, art, literature, and science exchanges between humans and Altarians. Lily's mother had fully recovered from her illness and now lived in a comfortable home on Earth. Lily visited her often, traveling on the fast ships that moved between planets. Today was a big day. The first joint human-Altarian concert would be held in the Great Hall of New Sacramento Colony. Musicians from both species would play together, performing pieces they had created together over the past months. Lily's device beeped with a message. It was from Zelthor. We are ready for the final practice. Will you join us? She smiled and sent back a quick yes before grabbing her bag and heading out. The transport tube took her quickly across the colony to the Great Hall. It was the largest building in New Sacramento, with room for thousands of people. Today it was filled with the sounds of human and Altarian instruments being tuned and tested. Lily walked in and saw Zelthor on the stage, along with 5 other Altarians and 7 human musicians. The Altarians were playing both traditional Earth instruments and their own sound wave generators, strange devices that created music through direct manipulation of air molecules. "Lily," Zelthor called, skin flashing happy gold. "We were just practicing the new piece." Over the past year, Lily had learned to read Altarian emotions through their skin colors. Gold meant joy, purple was thoughtfulness, blue was calm, and red, which was rare, meant anger or strong disagreement. She had also composed several pieces specifically for joint human-Altarian performances. Today they would play her newest work, Harmony of Worlds West, for the first time in public. Lily joined them on stage, sitting at the grand piano that was the centerpiece of the performance. Like everything about her life now, it was much better than the old piano at the Starlight Diner where her journey had begun. As they practiced, Richard Donovan entered the hall with a group of business people. He spotted Lily and came over, his face showing the satisfaction of a man whose plans had worked out well. "Ms. Bennett," he said with a nod. "Everything sounds wonderful. The concert is sold out and it's being broadcast across the solar system. Thanks to your marketing," Lily said with a small smile. Over the past year, she had developed a careful working relationship with Donovan. She respected his business skills but remained cautious about his motives. "Business and art can work together," he said as if reading her thoughts. "The cultural exchange program has opened up trade worth billions of credits. The Altarians are buying our luxury goods, and we're getting access to their technology. Everyone wins." Lily nodded. He wasn't wrong. The program had been good for both species. Human art and music gave the Altarians new ways to express emotions they had previously kept hidden. Altarian technology gave humans new tools to explore the solar system and beyond. "I wanted to discuss your contract renewal," Donovan continued. "It's coming up next month." "Actually, I've been meaning to talk to you about that," Lily said. "I've received an offer from the Earth Altarian Cultural Institute. They want me to be their director." Donovan's smile faded slightly. "The government institute? I'm sure I can match whatever they're offering." "It's not about the money," Lily said. "The institute will be independent, not tied to any corporation. I think that's important for the future of human-Altarian relations." Before Donovan could respond, Zelthor joined them. "Mr. Donovan, we are most pleased with the preparations for today's concert." "Ambassador Zelthor," Donovan said, quickly putting his business smile back on. "I'm glad to hear it. This concert marks 1 year of successful cooperation between our peoples." "Indeed," the Altarian said, skin showing a mix of gold and purple. "Much has been accomplished, and we have Lily Bennett to thank for opening the door." Lily felt her face grow warm. "I just played the piano. Everything else came from all of us working together." "Modest as always," Donovan said. "Well, I'll let you finish your practice. We have some important guests arriving soon." After he left, Zelthor turned to Lily. "You seem troubled. Is something wrong?" Lily had discovered that it was hard to hide feelings from Altarians. They were very good at reading subtle human expressions. "Just thinking about the future," she said. "I've been offered a position at the new Cultural Institute." "Ah," Zelthor's skin showed understanding purple. "That would take you away from Donovan Aerospace." "Yes, Donovan won't be happy." "He will adjust," Zelthor said simply. "Humans are adaptable, as we have learned. Now, shall we finish our practice? The concert begins in 3 hours." The practice went well, and soon it was time for the concert. Lily went to the dressing room to prepare. As she changed into her concert clothes, a simple but elegant dress, she thought about her journey. From playing in a small diner to performing on a stage for thousands, with aliens as her musical partners. From serving coffee to helping shape the relationship between two intelligent species. It was more than she could have imagined that night when Donovan had challenged her to play the old piano. The concert hall filled with people. Humans and Altarians sat side by side in the audience, waiting for the music to begin. Lily peeked out from backstage and saw her mother in the front row, smiling proudly. She also saw Alan from the Starlight Diner, and several of her regular customers from those days. Donovan had arranged for them to attend as her special guests. The Lights dimmed and the concert began. Different groups performed, showing the progress they had made in combining human and Altarian musical traditions. The audience responded with enthusiasm, the humans clapping and the Altarians making their humming sounds of approval. Finally, it was time for the main piece. Lily walked onto the stage with Zelthor and the other musicians. She sat at the piano, took a deep breath, and began to play. The piece started with just the piano playing a simple, haunting melody. Then the other human instruments joined in: violins, flutes, guitars. Finally, the Altarian sound wave generators added their unique tones, creating harmonies that had never been heard before. Lily brought the two musical traditions together. As she played, Lily looked out at the audience, humans and Altarians listening together to music that spoke to both species. She saw wonder on their faces, saw the Altarian skin glowing with emotion. In that moment, she knew she had found her true purpose, not just playing music, but using it to build bridges between worlds. The shy waitress from the edge of the high colony had found her voice at last. The music reached its final crescendo, human and alien sounds blending in perfect harmony. Then silence fell, a moment of perfect stillness. Then the audience erupted in applause and humming. Lily stood and bowed, alongside her fellow musicians, human and Altarian. They had created something new together, something that had never existed before. As the applause continued, Lily knew this was just the beginning. There would be more music, more exchanges, more understanding between the species, and she would be there playing her part in the great harmony of worlds.